Today's date is the 18th of September 2023, and I'd like to talk to you about the circumference of a circle. Okay, before we start today's lesson, thank you to everyone who has been watching our videos. Okay, can you please consider subscribing, sharing, liking, and following us? Okay, for instance, and then also if you know somebody who will benefit from Gcse maths, maybe they're in year 11, year 10, or they are doing research, please introduce them to our platform. And also even year 7, because our beginning video, I started from that place where I wanted to bring together all the foundation students so that I don't leave anyone out. Okay, so at some point we'll be doing a lot of difficult work and solving questions from past papers. But even if you're in year 7 and you've just started secondary school, it's good to start from the beginning videos so that when you start learning maths at school, you wouldn't you always be at the top. Okay, so if you know somebody who will benefit, please share, encourage them to also share, subscribe, and then follow us. Okay, thank you very much for that. I normally write in the comment section, please follow my notes/script. This note, I've just done it myself, okay, and I've thought about it, what to talk about and maybe what to stress on. Okay, and at times, for instance, this is 5, 13, 21, 29. So if you hear 5, 13, 21, 9, follow the script on that. Okay, thank you very much for that. And then if you're online, be careful, don't be scammed. Okay, don't be accepting friend requests that you don't know, because they just want access to your a messenger box or inbox so that they can be badging you. Oh, we want a donation for an orphanage. Under this platform, we don't do that. We don't ask for any form of donation. Okay, thank you very much. And then also, if they put it on our platform and I see it, I will delete it. So the chances are they will be trying to go into my friend page and see those people and then be badging you. Please don't fall for it, please. Okay, don't. And then if the account is not yours, ask for permission, okay, before you subscribe. Because if, for instance, you are in year 6, okay, and you are not in the legal limit, then you might have to use your parents' account. So let your parents open the account for you and ask for their permission, okay, before you share and like and subscribe. Thank you very much on that as well. Now let's look at the recap. Last lesson, we've been doing a lot of work on sequences, and sequences is an order or rule of numbers, okay, that follow a certain pattern. Okay, so we found out that at times the rule is +3, add 3, minus 3. But we realized that if, for instance, we want a sequence of 7 numbers, okay, like a finite sequence that ends in 7, we can quickly do that. We can even find missing numbers. But assuming they ask us to find the 100th term, are we just going to be sitting down adding 3? Okay, you don't have the time for that. Okay, so even though we know the rule and we want to find like the 200th term, we can't just be there assuming the rule is 10. Maybe we can figure that out quickly, but it's difficult to figure it out if the rule is maybe 27. Okay, what would be 100th term? If the rule is -6, what would be our 246th term? We have to find a way of deducing that. So that is where the name position to term rule comes in place, where our n is the first term. So our n here is, for instance, this term, n equals 1 here. So if we find the rule and we put n equals 1, we should get 5. Okay, so this is what we've been learning in our last lesson. So I'm going to bring 2 examples and we'll have a look at it, and then we'll do a starter and then quickly talk about the circumference of the circle. Okay, today, so the example I have here for you is, consider the number sequence. Okay, we have 5, 13, 21, 29, and then there's a comma. Then we know that 3 dots means is on and on, it doesn't terminate, it's an infinite. Okay, so we can even find the 1500th term if we are asked to, but we need to find this rule here. So here, just knowing that it's add 8 to get the next term is not good enough, because we will have to sit down for hours adding 8 till we get to maybe the 86th term or the 1500 term, whatever we are asked to find. So we need to find the position to term rule. Okay, so here, determine the position to term rule. That is the first part. And then find the 86th term. So if this is n equals 1, n equals 2, that is the second term, n equals 3, n equals 4, and then n equals 86, which I found, but I'm going to explain. Okay, if you want to understand more, go to the last video. Okay, that is sequence 3. So here, 5 add 8 is 13, add 8 is 21, add 8 is 29. So if we want to find the 86th rule, we only know 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 82 more. and we don't have time to do that. So how do we find the position to term rule? And we use that to find put n equals 86 and find this number here. So now let n be the nth term. So the first term, second term, third term. We know we have a difference of plus 8. Okay, so the first part of our rule is 8n. Then we go again and do the analysis part. If n equals 1, 8 times 1 is 8. Okay, so that is the first term. Now 8n will be 8. Okay, if we substitute n equals 1, what do we do to 8 to get a 5? Do we add or subtract? Here we need to subtract 3. So if we subtract 3 from 8, then we get 5. So straight away, our position to term rule is 8n, which is the first part, minus 3. Okay, minus 3. So now we can test it. So we've done the first one. If n is 1, 8n is 8, minus 3 is 5. If n is 2, 8n, 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, minus 3, because our rule is 8n minus 3, will be 13. If n is 3, 8 times n is 24, minus 3 is 21. Okay, if n is 4, 8n is 32, 8 times 4 is 32, minus 3 is 29. So this rule here, 8n minus 3, satisfies the 4 first term. So it should satisfy the 86 term. So after deducing this, now the second part is find n, the 86 term. Okay, so now 8n will be 8 times 86 here. This 86. So n equals 86. So 8n times 86 on the calculator. And then minus 3. So when you do that, you get 685. Okay, so this is how we found it. So the 86 term here is 685. So in a short space of time, just by deducing the position to term rule, we found the 86 term. Now I wanted to show you another example. Now look at this first example we did: 5, 13, 21, 29. Now I've turned it upside down. 29, okay, 21, 13, and 5. The same sequence. Here we start from 5 and we increase by 8. Here we start from 29 and we decrease by 8. Okay, so 29 minus 8 is 21, minus 8 is 13, minus 8 is 5. Okay, now here we are asked to find the 100th term. So the question again, are you going to be sitting down and subtracting? Okay, so the difference here is minus 8. Okay, if we just need the first 6 or 7 terms, we can subtract 8 and stop. Okay, that's a finite sequence, but this is an infinite sequence. There are numbers in between till you get to 100th term, and after 100th term you can go on and on. Okay, so they can ask you a question, find the 100th term and find the 817th term. Are you going to just be adding and subtracting 8? Okay, so now let n be the nth term, and I've explained to you the nth term is like the first term. So 29 here, n equals 1. Now the difference here, okay, is minus 8. Okay, unlike here, the first one, the difference is plus 8. So our first part of our equation is 8n. Here, the difference is minus 8. So our first part of the equation will be minus 8n. Okay, now we need to find the second part. Minus 8 times the first term will be minus 8. You remember when we're doing integers, okay? Now, what do we subtract or add to minus 8 to get 29? So if you look at it, we need to add 37. If we add 37 to minus 8, we get 29. You can even try it on your calculator. So our rule becomes minus 8n plus 37. You remember we did a video on identities where we say A equals B, or B equals A, or AB equals BA. So here we can write 37 minus 8n so that the minus doesn't confuse you. So whatever you get for 8n, you subtract from 37. So if n equals 1, 8 times 1 is 1. Okay, minus 37 will give you 29 here. Okay, so look at it. Same numbers, add 8, increment of 8. And same numbers, decrement of minus 8. But the rules are different. The position to term rule are different. Now we need to test this test here. Okay, to test if this rule is right. Okay, so let's see. Okay, if n is 1, okay, 37 minus 8 times 1 is 37 minus 8, and it will give you 29. You can quickly check with your calculator. You don't need to do all that, but I'm trying to show you how to do it so that when you get the position to term rule, you'll be confident. As long as you can deduce the differences from the first few numbers, then and do the end parts and deduce whatever adds up to make your first term, you should be fine. Okay, now when n is 2, you have 8 times 2 is 16. 37 minus 16 is 21. When n is 3, okay, 37 minus 24 is 13. That is what we have here. When n is 4, 8 times 4 is 32. 37 minus 32 is 5. That is what you have here. So here we are supposed to find the 100th term. So 37 minus 8 times 100. 8 times 100 is 800. 37 minus 800. You know, 800 minus 800 is very bigger minus. And the minus affect the 800. So your answer will be minus 763. So that is what we have here. So our rule is you can use minus 8n plus 37, or 37 minus 8n is still the same. Okay, so our 100th term will be n equals 100. Okay, so 37 minus 8 times 100 will give you minus 763. So this will be 100th term. So look at it. The first one, same numbers in decreasing order, minus 8, and this is 100th term. Second one, same numbers, but starting from 5, adding 8. Okay, different position to term rule here and here. Okay, and this is what we get. Okay, and this is the second term. Okay, and the question there. Okay, so you can go and try it. Okay, this is the first example. That is the rule here. Okay, and that is the answer here and here. So you can go and try it. Okay, there. Now, our starter for today. Okay. Okay, factorize. We've done something like this. Okay, if it's expand, they will give you this and then you multiply it through. But factorize means, which I've explained to you, is in one of our videos again. Okay, so 8 to the power 4 plus 4x squared. So what is the common factor here? X squared. So into bracket, x squared plus 4. Okay, this is not difference of two squares, so we leave it as that. Okay, so look at it. If you multiply x squared by x squared, you get x to the power 4. If you add s squared times 4, if you multiply s squared times 4, you get 4s squared. Second example, 14y minus 21. Again, the common factor here is 7. Into bracket, 2y minus 3. So 7 times 2y will be 14y. 7 times minus 3 will be 21. Okay. So this is our starter for today. Go and have a think about it. But we have a lot of algebra videos that we have done this. Okay. Today we want to look at the circumference of a circle. Okay. Now the circumference of the circle formula is 2 pi r. Pi here is your constant, so you can use 3.142, okay, or 22/7. So if you want to find the circumference of a circle, so the circumference is like a length. So assuming you are here and you go round in the outer face of the circle. That is the circumference. Okay, this is pi. R is your radius. Now, I will show you how to use your calculator to find pi. So here is my calculator. Okay, so I'm putting it on there. Okay, now I'm going to clean anything I've done on it. This is the the pi sign here. Okay, so because it's not on top of this and the pi is here, you need to come and press this shift button here. So if you click shift and you press this button here, you have pi. Okay, so now if you want pi times 6 equal, you have 6 pi. Okay, so you can multiply pi by any number, but remember to press the shift button, and remember that this is your pi here. Okay, that is it. This is how you use the calculator to find pi. Okay, now pi is a constant, which I've just shown you, and your calculator can give you the answer straight away. Okay, most of the time, unless they ask you to leave your answer in terms of pi, which you can leave as pi or 22/7. Okay, it will be a non-calculator paper. It will be a calculator paper, sorry. Now, I've demonstrated pi on the calculator. R is the radius of the circle. Okay, now part of the circle, for instance, if a pizza is a full circle, if you cut it into 6 parts, part of it is called a sector. Okay, here to there, part of the outer face of the circle becomes your arc length. Okay, and that will be the angle, okay, in the sector. So a full circle has an angle of 360, but a sector wouldn't have a full angle, okay, because it is being chopped off at some point. Now, example here again. The circumference of a circle with radius 4 centimeters. Okay, so if I have a full circle, okay, so my formula is 2 pi r. Okay, so 2 times r is 4 centimeters, will give me 8 pi. 2 times 4 is 8, so 8 pi, or 8 times 22/7, or 8 times 3.142. If you do it on the calculator to 1 decimal place, okay, as I've just shown you the function, you get 21.1 centimeters. Okay, now the radius is centimeters. The unit here, the radius is 4 centimeters, so the unit will be 4, because you are measuring the length from one part of the circle all the way round to the other part, and it is 360 because you've gone all the way round. So that will be the circumference. Now, circumference of half of the circle. Okay, what we just did is when the circumference is 360. So 360 divided by 360, so you get 2 pi r. What if you are supposed to find the circumference for only half of the circle? Half of the circle, the angle in half of a circle becomes 180. So 180 divided by 360 times 2 pi r. Okay, so if half of this, you can take 2, so it will become pi r. Okay, or you just use the half and multiply and get your answer. Now, for this one, half of the circle is 360 over 2, which is 180 degrees. So the circumference is 180 divided by 360 times 2 pi r. Okay, so that's what I've just explained to you. So this is half of the circle. The angle in half of the circle is 180. This is not to scale. Okay, so 180 divided by 360 times 2 pi r. Now, if it's a quarter of a circle, then we know that the angle will be a quarter of 180, which is 90. So 90 divided by 360 times 2 pi r. Okay, that will be for a quarter of a circle. So what are we seeing? We are seeing a pattern. If it's a 1/6 of a circle, okay, 360 divided by 6 will be 60. So it becomes 60 divided by 360 times 2 pi r. 2 pi r is always the circumference of the circle. Okay, so here you go. Now we have a rule, flashcard alert. I need you to put, so if we found for 180, we found for 90, and we found for 60. So we can generalize. So if we have part of a circle, it's called a sector, as we have here. Okay, now to find the length from A to B, okay, that is called the length of the arc, or the arc length. So if we know this angle here, okay, then we should be able to find it. So if the angle is 60, is 60 divided by 360 times 2 pi r. So if we know the angle, whether it's 20 or 40 or 70, all we have to do is 70 divided by 360 times 2 pi r. You need to add this to your flashcard. Okay, in the end, you might have like 6 of them. So when you are revising for your exam, all you need to do, if you've forgotten the formula, is to look at your flashcard, use it, and then memorize it. Okay, because if you are not given, then you might have to find a way of remembering. So by putting it on your flashcard, then and you use it, then anytime you need it, you use it. The more you use it, the more it sticks. Okay, so this is your sector. You want to find the length AB, then you are given the angle, then you should be able to use the angle divided by 360 times 2 pi r if you are given the radius. So let's quickly look at some examples here. So we'll have a look at one example, and then so I've drawn a circle. This is not to scale, and I have 87 degrees here, My radius is 6 centimeters. Okay. Okay, so they may not always draw for you, so you might have to take time and draw it out and by the question to help you answer the question if you can figure it out. Okay, so calculate the arc length. So as part of the circumference of the sector 87 degrees. Okay, degrees as in angles with radius 6 centimeters. So your answer should be in centimeters because you want a length. You want the arc length. Your angle is 87. So straight away, it's not a full circle. So you can't use 2 pi r. Okay, so 87 divided by 360. Here is your angle. This sign here is called theta. Okay, so theta over 360 times 2 pi r. Your angle is 87 divided by 360 times 2 pi r. Here is 6 centimeters. Okay, so if you use the calculator right, multiply 87 by 2 by 6 and divide by 360 and add pi. Okay, and multiply by pi. You should get 9.1 centimeters to 1 decimal place. Okay, it's centimeters because your radius is in centimeters, and A to B is a length, not an area. So that's why your unit is in centimeters. Don't forget the unit. Okay, if asked to leave your answer in pi, then it will be 2.9 pi centimeters. Okay, circumference is length. Okay, it's like your journey round a full circle, so it's length. So your answer here is centimeters because length is centimeters. It's not area. Okay, because your r was given to you in centimeters. If it's given to you in meters, then your answer will be in meters. Okay, if they ask you to leave your answer in pi, then you multiply 87 by 2 by 6, divide by 360. Okay, and then you get 22.9 pi centimeters. But if they ask you to give an answer to 1 decimal place, then it's 9.1 centimeters. If they ask you to give your answer to the nearest whole number, then it is 9 centimeters. If they ask you to give it to 2 decimal places, you have to ask you have to add the next unit. Okay, which we've done. We've seen 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places, 3 decimal places. We've done this in one of our earlier videos, so you can check that out. Okay, we've gone beyond our time today, but thank you for watching our video for today, and I'll see you in the next.